Hi, everyone, and welcome to this month's Speaker Chat. I'm really excited today to have Dr. Sonja Stribling with us, and we're talking about tomorrow's empowered women and give your story a voice and a bank account. And I think that's something that we all want to do.
Absolutely.
So I'm so excited to have you here today, Dr. Sonja. I know that you're going to be talking about some of the takeaways that people are going to have today is the importance of sharing your story, how you can view your life experience and knowledge as a pathway to helping the masses and building a profitable business at the same time.
Yes, yes. And so if I may, first I got to say thank you so much for allowing me, Tracey, to be a part of this, because I think it's so important. And the simple fact that we can okay, let's just be free for a minute and have a transparent moment as women, as speakers, authors, and coaches, but just thought leaders. So I'm foremost, I'm thankful for you allowing me to be a part of this. So thank you up front. And for every woman who's taken the time out of their very busy schedule just to sit and listen and see how you can partake in this conversation, and how you can really gather the information I think that we all need to kind of move forward in building our businesses, but knowing more importantly how important it is to share our story. And the truth be told, Tracey, and everyone, how many of you have a story that's out there? We all have a story. And it's not that one is more important than the other. It's just those of us who have decided to share a story and impact and influence the lives of the folks that are listening. Because trust me, there's someone out there that listens to your story if you would just share it.
Right.
Yes.
And I think I'm so glad that you were able to join us today, because I do think it's so important for us to share our messages. And sometimes we keep them very deep inside, and it's a little frightening to get it out there. But you know what we do, everything that we do is about relationships and how other people relate to us. And sharing your story is definitely one way to have start to have that impact too.
It is. And just imagine. And I get it. Let me say this, because a lot of times, Tracey, those who don't know me, I'm very straightforward. I'm very honest and open and transparent, of course. But it is the thing of, I know someone's thinking right now, well, I have a story, but I don't want everybody to know my business. Or it is just too deep and I'm not ready. And every time I think about it and I share it, I begin to cry, but I know everybody's got to hear it. And so this is not necessarily telling every facet of the story. It's just a high arching level of where it can impact someone, not telling all the details of what has happened to you or the trauma or the things, but is more so, what story do you have that can impact and influence the lives of someone else, because it is absolutely needed. So for that person, because I want to address her right now, because she's thinking, I have a story, but I don't want everybody to know, I'm embarrassed, or I don't want to embarrass my family. And we all have that story, but it's just, how can you tell it in such a way where you've overcome it and it's not so dreadful and dramatized, but it still helps someone with their life.
Right. Okay, well, you know what? I want to make sure people know who you are first. So
Okay.
I am going to read your bio,
Okay.
and then we'll kind of roll back into things, because what you said, I know you're speaking to people. I see Desiree. She says, "Love this." All of who are all. I can't speak.
Okay.
All we are is who matters.
Yes.
Shelly Amardo, love this. Tell your story, be proud. So we've definitely have some great people that have joined us on here, and definitely if you're coming in at any point and coming in during this call or during the chat, or if you are coming in afterwards and of someone that needs to hear this now, because that's always the case. Somebody out there needs to hear this now. Please share it. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so Dr. Sonja Stribling is a TV personality, an international speaker, an author, a global empowerment specialist. She does it all. It's amazing what you've done, and we've definitely had these conversations before, and you've done some training for us that has been absolutely phenomenal, that definitely makes you think. So I'm excited to have you, in this kind of structured interview as well. So as well as being a mother of 3 boys, and I think your son just had a birthday the other day, right? Yesterday?
Youngest, the 19,
yeah.
18, 19-year-old just had birthday, yes.
That's awesome. Okay, and Dr. Sonja is a retired Army major, a talk show host on Bravo Network, who now uses this training and experience to lead thousands to their victory in dominating their space as a speaker, author, coach, or consultant. As the founder of Next Level Living 7.0, the home of her Born to Be Powerful Academy for women who are driven by purpose and entrepreneurs who are serious and committed to being more impactful, influential, and are on a mission to leaving a legacy, which, I mean, that's just so powerful in itself. Dr. Sonja is on a mission to help 1,000 women to their next level business as a thought leader, influencers as coach, author, and speaker by revealing the inner game of building $1 million business. She shares the secrets of how she built $1 million coaching business in 12 months, which is just, for some of us, might just seem totally phenomenal and not doable. And we're gonna talk about that today, how that happened. And as well, she is, just a second here, and generating like 250K in one day. And then, like, I don't know.
We'll talk about that.
You are my superstar. So I'm really excited. I'm excited that you're going to be able to share with us today. And we have some more people that have just joined us. I'm going to give them a quick shout out. Melissa Ann DeSerio said, hi, ladies. Gina Brown, hi ladies, love this. Madeline Marlowe, oh hey, pumped to be here. Dr. Sonja is amazing. I see that you brought a lot of people here today. That's awesome. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Shall we get started then?
Yes.
Okay, well, the first question I want to ask, and you can let me know if you have anything else to say. Go ahead.
Can I jump in real quick, Tracey? I know all of that stuff, like, oh my God, who is this woman? Can I just kind of briefly share? Please don't laugh those are great accolades, but I haven't always been that person. I just haven't. I was just like some of you right now that may be like, man, I'm just getting this party started. Where do I start? What do I do? And I was just like the typical mom, single mom at that. And I just decided to find my voice. And because for many years, I didn't think I had one. I had a child at 15 years old. You know, Tracey said about my youngest having a birthday, but I have a 31-year-old. Yeah, and he'll be 32 in December.
Oh my goodness.
32-year-old. Yeah, I know, 32 myself, but however, and then I got a 23-year-old who will be 24, and my youngest just had his birthday. So I haven't always been this woman. I was a child having a child. You know, part of my story is being raped at 17 years old and bloody body drug through a field, and I survived that. But mentally, I didn't. And for the longest time, after being married 18 years and going through, you know, the most horrific divorce, I thought, when some have had worse, but for me, it's just changed my life because it took 3 years to get a divorce. Being in the military team at 21 years and getting my dates confused here, 21 years, and retiring just a couple of years ago. And I was like, what am I going to do when I grow up? What am I going to do? I've done so much, but it was more trauma and drama than then. And I was a strong woman, like many of the women listening now, Tracey. We're all strong in our own right because we survived, but there's a difference in being strong and being powerful. And when you become powerful, you understand you have a voice, you have a story, and you begin to share it. In the meanwhile, you build a multi-million-dollar business. So that's who I am now, or who I was before I got to this place.
And everything that you went through, and all the things that you've done, and all the experiences that you have, and we kind of touched on that today, is what has got you to where you are now, where you've embraced that power and have made, you know, changes, made things happen.
What happened is this, like the turning point. I was just tired. You hear the cliche, tired, sick and tired of being sick and tired. I just got tired. I got tired of going through something every single day, trying to figure out how I'm going to take care of my kids. Okay, I'm a single woman. I want to date. I want to get married. I was going through all of that. And I wanted to, because our natural thing, and for me, I know it was natural, I wanted to take care of somebody. And I was taking care of my kids, but the person I needed to focus on was me. And so the turning point where I start like, okay, what is it that you want? What is it that you need? And who do you need to become to have a better life, a fulfilled life, and have that business? And I was scared, I'll be honest. And there was fear set in. And the turning point was I didn't have a choice. I just made it. It wasn't an option to quit. It wasn't an option just to stay stuck. And I made a decision. Okay, let's figure this thing out. But I started looking around. It was just me. Tracey, I knew I had to get somebody to help me We always do this by ourselves, and we're great for everybody else. But when it comes to us, we kind of, oh, I'll be okay. We take the back chair, we're back seat to everything. And I said, no, I got to come first without the guilt. So I put myself first. If you ask me that one thing, I start putting myself first in what I wanted out of life.
I love it. Yeah, we need to remember that, if we can put ourselves first, we can actually do more for other people too, right? It's a win-win-win that way.
Yes.
So
Yes, absolutely.
so let's go into, why do you believe every woman should share her story?
Oh my goodness. Because your story is not just for you. We may think it is, it's just not for you. We, in our minds, and please forgive me, I'm very passionate. So if that freaks somebody out, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm passionate about this, because there's someone that needs to hear a little bit about your story, to give her the hope, the encouragement, and to empower her that there is better out there. If I would have just stayed where I was, I know I wouldn't be impacting some of the lives that I hear every day. Dr. Sonja, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I knew I was on the right track, but we have to be able to share it. And I'm challenging every woman to share their story, because it's going to help someone else be better. It's going to help someone be able to take care of their kids. It's going to help actually save someone's life.
That's amazing. And I'm reading some of the comments here, and it's like, yes, put self first, no guilt. It's important. Love the passion. So never apologize for the passion that you have. We love that about you, because it's like, it's so, I don't know, like it draws you in. It makes other people excited about the possibilities, and the fact that when you focus on what you want and you don't allow excuses to come into play, what you can accomplish is just, it's so exciting.
Yes, it's contagious. I hear, oh my gosh, your energy is contagious.
Right?
It's like,
It is.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, and I can see it from the comments that are coming up here. And if I missed calling you out on here, it's because Facebook loves to sometimes show comments and then other times just tease you about comments. So I might have to go back afterwards. We'll be happy to kind of check in here afterwards and answer any questions that maybe we don't touch on.
Yes.
So yes, important for every woman to share her story. And I'm just going to quickly say too, like we have with Women Speakers Association, we have a book launch coming up on October 18th called Voices of the 21st Century, and it's about women sharing their stories. So you'll see more about that coming up on our pages coming up, but thank you for letting me just sort of share that, because it is so important for people to know what it is, how you got to where you are, who you are, and how that's going to impact other people. I love that the fact that you said, it's important to share your story, not necessarily even for you. It's for the people that need to hear it.
Right. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So I see, how is it possible to use your life experience and knowledge to build a business on 3 platforms?
Yeah. So what I realized very quickly, and it didn't come to me, Tracey, until I was really active in doing this. I started taking my business serious. It was no longer a hobby. It was like, oh, I'm just going to try it. Let's see what happens. It was like, no, coach put me in the game. I'm ready to play. Tell me what position I need to be in. Just told me where to go. And when I got to that place, I quickly started realizing, like, wait a minute. So if I take my life experience and my knowledge, because when I originally started it, just a couple of years, this hasn't been a long period of time. I know you've heard of all these folks that are out there and they've been in the game for 10, 15 years. Nope, just a little less than 3 years. Matter of fact, October 15th makes 3 years that I've been officially coaching and speaking publicly. Television just happened last year. We're going into season 2. We finished season 1 on Bravo. And so it was more so, Tracey, this happened. I sat down and said, okay, what is one thing that I can do? And this is just my thought process. I have a ritual every morning. I'm like, what is it that I need to accomplish today? And it was, wait a minute, hold on. Is there anybody out there showing people how to do this on 3 platforms? The answer is no. It's like, okay, but you're doing it. Why don't you show them? And so I came up, it's called like a triple threat. So imagine being a speaker and you begin to share your story. And you share your story from different platforms, webinars, podcasts, on stage, television, or what have you. You're sharing your story in such a way that is influential, it's transforming the lives of people. But when you're talking, you're bringing them back to something, to you and the programs that you may have or you created. And so now I'm not only a speaker, I'm a coach or a consultant. Oh yeah, and by the way, I'm an author too. So now you're writing a book, Tracey, and they're reading the book and it's great, and they read it and the book brings them back to you. And so as a triple threat, it's not no longer being the author that can't sell a book and you're giving it away. I call it the broke author, if I can be real. So sorry. I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm so sorry. Not really. But it is writing a book, and it's not just sharing your story in the book, but how do you bring them back? Because we're cheating people if we're not really sharing anything to bring them back for you to help them. We're just giving them some influential stuff and it's great and they're still left over here, but what do I do? And so it's not just being that author, being a speaker, standing on stage is great. I love it. I've been able to share the stages with the Les Browns of the world, sharing the stage with the Jeff Hoffman, who's the founder of the kiosk when you go to the airport. He's the one responsible for that. Sharing a stage with Google. This is a country girl from Arkansas. That's it. I was just supposed to be sharing a little bit of my story, but it turned into this enterprise. And so just speaking and then coaching women, especially to their next level. So that's what I mean. Making sure you find a voice. It's one story on 3 platforms. Repeat after me. My story is powerful.
My story is powerful. Everybody, I want to see it written down.
Yes.
My story is powerful. And I love the fact that it's a cycle. It's a circle, right? I mean, you want to have people may come to you, they might first see you as a speaker.
Yes.
And then they might read your book, and then they might want to be part of your coaching program, or they might hear about your coaching program and want to read your book and see you as a speaker. Like I love the way that it all meshes so nicely together.
Yes, it's perfect harmony, not balance.
Yeah.
Ladies, we don't have balance. It's called harmony. There is no balance in this. It's called harmony. They all fit together for a good reason.
And I'm just looking at some of the comments here. Madeline, I want you to say, my story is powerful without the question mark. I love that you shared that. And hi to Sonja, and hi to Yazine from Algeria, and Rhonda. So excited that you guys can all join us here today.
Yes.
There you go. We've got Gina Scott. My story is powerful in capital letters and an exclamation mark. Yeah, I think it's like one of those things where you have to just, it can be your mantra, right? Yeah. Beautiful. Absolutely. Yes, I love it, Madeline. We changed it up. Now I believe you. Your story is incredible. And I know that everybody's story is powerful, but sometimes that belief is going to hold you back. Vicki Jones says, my story is powerful. I love where we're putting the attention to this. So that's fabulous. Thank you so much. All right, so let's move on to the next question.
Tracey, may I just jump in just for a second?
You always can jump in. Yes, please.
So for the lady that is listening right now, for the person who had the question mark, because she's still trying to figure out if it's powerful. And the reason why you don't know that it's powerful is because you haven't shared it. You haven't given it the opportunity to kind of marinate in the spirit and the souls of women, because you probably kind of kept it. And I meet women all the time. And I too, when I started, it's like, well, my story's nothing. There's so many folks that, had a baby at that age. There's so many, like, why are they going to listen to me? Why am mine so important? It is important because it's you, but you first have to believe that you have a story. I hear all the time, women that are even in my programs now, Doc, I don't have a story. Yes, you do. Your story is just different from everybody else's, but you first have got to see I would say the secret sauce in your story, because there is a secret sauce in your story. And that's when I said before, Tracey, of how do you take your life experiences and your knowledge? It's your story. And how do you begin to package it to where you can help people that are called to just you? You don't need 1 million people to make $1 million. No. Oh my goodness. You just need one idea that is going to touch the heart and the spirits. And as I can say, the pocketbook of those that are ready to move forward. Because some people are looking for something. And why not them find you when you're sharing your story and you're able to help them to their next level story?
I love that. I see... We've got Fran says, good afternoon all. And Catherine says, hello. And Catherine will be sharing her story in my book. Wanda it has a story that she's sharing too about being the first Latina ever to make a difference with a $15 billion to powerful and influential. It's amazing, right? Like I love you guys are sharing your stories. Definitely keep the posts coming on. We'll try and touch on as many as we can. So we were going to talk about what are the 3 things a woman can do today to begin the journey of being a profitable speaker, author, coach. So there you're talking about that platform, the 3 platforms again.
And as I think back, and I'm going to do, and I love just sitting back because I want to be very, very in the moment. We all have a script. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to say that, but just knowing and feeling, and I can't even see anybody's face. I really can't. But Tracey, just knowing and being around millions of women, and sometimes with thousands in one room, and feeling all that energy, because we are very passionate people. We are very emotional as well, and very nurturing. And so if someone were to ask, and I get asked all the time, and it doesn't necessarily change, but maybe the wording, but today I will say, number one, if you got to get a mentor. I'm sorry, I cannot sit here and say, oh, just do this, this, and this. You have got to get around someone that's going to speak life into you when you don't even believe it. Some of you right now are just listening to Tracey and I have a conversation. You're being moved by it. We don't want you to just be moved by it. We want you to do something about it. This is like, coach, this is my new, for October is coach, put me in a game. That's my thing. I play semi-pro basketball. My son plays in the NFL. My youngest plays in college football. And it's like, coach, put me in a game. And they hear me say it all the time, coach, put me in a game, because there's someone behind you pushing you out and say, hey, you can do this. Hey, this is do what we practice, all right? Go out there and get them. Get out there and share your story. And so one is getting a mentor, coach, or what have you, just kind of direct you. Don't try to do this by ourselves. And ladies, we are phenomenal people. We are. A woman on a mission and knowing her power, wow, that stops everything. But a woman who knows her on her mission, who has power, but has someone helping her move forward, is more important than anything. It is priceless. That's number one. Number two, getting around like-minded women like yourselves. It changes the game, because now you get to think differently. And when you get around people, and I'm looking around like, okay, so-and-so's doing this, she's doing that. Okay, I think I can do it, because I know I'm smarter than Dr. Sonja. I know that. I don't care if she has a PhD, by the way, didn't help me make money, didn't really help me do anything, but get some more in debt. So it is more so of being around like-minded women is powerful. Being in that group setting of women or people that are doing things very similar, instead of being around folks who are saying they're going to do it. It's like having that girlfriend going to the gym. Tracey, I'm not going to be your gym buddy. I can't, because I'm not probably going to go. I'm just not. So you'll be mad at me all the time. But if we were building a business, I'm your girl. Like, hey, Tracey, we got this. So it's just being around the caliber of people that either they're going to help push you. And thirdly is get a clear plan. What is the plan to be on those platforms, and not going, I meet coaches all the time. I get more inbox messages, my team are like, okay. And the question that I get, where do I get started? Or if it's not where, it's like, I don't know what to do. Find the answers, but you got to lay out, what is it? So if I ask a question right now, please put in a chat, Tracey, if that's okay.
Yes,
how much money do you really want to make? And for those of you that are saying, oh, it's not about the money. Okay, what I'd like for you to do, I want you to call a mortgage company. I want you to call a cell phone company and say, hey guys, I just want you to know I'm on this mission right now to help people. I'm going to tell my story, and I'm going to do all of this for free. So I'm not going to be able to pay you. And see if you don't get hung up on, because they're going to think you lost your mind. And so what I'm saying to you is really understanding what's the game plan and how much it is that you want to make, because there's got to be a plan moving forward. The end result is this. If it's 6 figures to be able to do this, what is the plan that you have in place? And if you don't have a plan, don't expect to get there. You'll just be spinning your wheels.
Right. No plan, no map to get there, no focus.
No, nothing at all.
And ladies, I'm looking for some numbers. You want to write them down? I know, hey, it's scary for all of us. What I think though, or what I know is that even when I write things down on on my boards and things that I look at. And if I put it down, it's amazing how close I can get to it. Love it. Melissa, way to go, girl. So she wants to make $250,000 first year or more. Good job.
Awesome. Absolutely.
Good job. And the plan, the conversation about having a plan is really resonating with people. Gina's like, must have a plan or get one in place. Melissa as well, get a clear plan. Unity. So it's speaking to people. It is.
Yes. And it goes back, I love, Tracey, it's the story, your voice in a bank account. You can do both. We can do it. We can have it all if we want. Just the work has to be put into it.
When I think having, talking about having a coach and how important that is, having someone that helps to keep you accountable.
Yes.
And is your cheerleader too, right? Yes. Oh, I've got some more numbers coming up. Madeline's looking to have $1,000 per month in revenue, brand new, and that's minimum viable income to keep her business going. So
yes,
great. I mean, that's good, right? You have a plan for that, or get a plan in place for that. That's awesome. And then after that, she's got big dreams of 10 million per year.
Okay.
That's fabulous.
Very much doable. Yes.
Yeah. Wanda, 100,000 per month. Gina, 110K annually to start. I'm loving these numbers, ladies.
Yes. And Tracey, it's funny because I know somebody's over there like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna put this number down, but I don't even really believe this is gonna happen. And so for that person who's thinking those are just way too much, when I started, I just wanted to make $10,000 a month. I had no idea. And it wasn't the how. I needed to figure out my why first. What is the why? And it began to be 10,000, 20,000. And when it got to 6 figures a month, I went, oh, I think I'm onto something here. It was like, yeah. I was like, oh, $100,000 a month. Okay. And so it is for the woman that is listening that these numbers scare you. This is one thing I would challenge every woman to do, is get very comfortable with numbers, and things have to be measurable. If you're not comfortable with money and things like that, it doesn't come to you. Money is drawn to things that attracts it. So if you're walking away and not thinking about, oh, I don't want to think about the money, Dr. Sonja, whether you're a speaker and whether you're an author or a coach or a thought leader, an entrepreneur, a business owner, you got to know the numbers and be okay with thinking about money. That's I think one of the biggest mistakes we make as women. We're afraid to talk about money. But when we go to work and you're having a discussion and they hire you, right, Tracey? You're thinking about, okay, how much are you going to pay me?
Right.
What am I? You're not going to say, oh, okay, we'll just give you $5. You're like, what? No, it's the same thing in your business. So don't let the numbers scare you, but I want to gradually take you through that process of being okay. I too was like, oh my gosh, how do I ask somebody for that level of income? I can't. Who do I think I am? The little voice in my head is like, who do you think you are? And I had to talk back to her now. Like, I know who I am, right? And so just getting very comfortable with the numbers, and don't let, some people are saying 100,000. I'm really and tuning in on the person said 10 million. It is absolutely doable. And when you start to see it, believe it and feel it, and then the rest catches up with that. So don't be afraid of that. Really sit down and look at the plan.
Yeah, it's a money mindset. It definitely is. Probably one of those things that holds people back the most, especially women. And I think these reminders are, will spur a lot of us on to reaching for what we want, and believing that we can do it, and believing that it doesn't have to stop there. Just because we put a number out there, it doesn't mean we have to stop at that. You were talking about 10,000 a month, and you're like, okay, well, wait a second, I've kind of like tripled that, quadrupled it, so forth. So. Oh yeah. Perfect. Yes. We're talking about accountability too. It is vital. So having someone in your corner that doesn't let you dabble in the excuses.
Yes.
Is really important.
Yes. And Tracey, can I share a little story, since I don't use any names? So the clients, I have 3 different programs, and one of my higher tier programs, I was having a conversation. So they get the one-on-one, we're having a conversation. And I would say the hardest thing as coaches, as a coach, and those that are out there, and I know, Tracey, you do the same thing with coaching and leading people to their destiny and their next level. And I could tell at that moment she wasn't coachable. And I said, I had a choice. And this is bringing this up because we're talking about money mindset and all of that. But as a coach, I don't allow, like the clients that I have, when they make the investment, it's not even about the money. The investment is there because you need to have skin in the game, right? Because when you have skin in the game, most people typically pay attention. So I could say, hey, Tracey and I are having this program and it's absolutely free and everybody's all excited. We're going to show you how to make $1 million. You're like, oh my gosh, I want. But as soon as life happens, like, oh, it was free. So, you know, it's okay. I'll do it next time. But when you have skin in the game, so it takes me to a story, having a conversation, and I can kind of tell what was going on. She wasn't really coachable at that moment. I said, hey, let's do this. Let's revisit this later, because right now you're not in a moment where I can pour into you or even ask questions. And she's like, what? Wait a minute. And I said, the strongest thing or the most valuable thing that an accountability partner or a coach can tell you is when you're off target and when you're not ready for game time. So let's go back to the drawing board. Let's revisit. It hurt me to do that. Like our moms used to say, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you, right? Yeah. I'm like, really? But it did hurt. But I think she got the gist of it because she now understands we don't have time to play with this. Not in this season. There are too many #MeToos that are out there. There's too many things that are happening to women. And for your story to be impactful, someone's got to hear it. So we don't have time to sit back and be lackadaisical about things you've invested, because we invest too much time, money, and energy into what we really want, or at least we should. So I just wanted to share that with those that are questioning. Accountability partner is going to tell you, not a partner, but a coach is going to tell you the truth in love.
No, and I think we need to hear that, because sometimes you might be, you know, that saying, barking up the wrong tree too. You know, as you have that conversation, it may just, you might be on that wrong path. You hit the Y and you went left instead of going right, and having somebody kind of, I don't know, just have a different vision of that. You don't get so stuck in your head. So I'm glad that you shared that. That's really important. And I just want to, we're back to Madeline, which is amazing. She's like, I don't know how exactly, when, or how, but I am absolutely, in capital letters, going to make $10 million in a year, one day. So good for you. See, you're starting to, like, look at how far you've come on a 30-minute call. Yay.
Yes, just think about it. Just think about it, 10 million, and let's say, okay, in the first 6 months, you got to make half of that or what have you. What's the plan? How many people do you need? You don't need 1 million people. I want to keep reiterating that, because most people think you got to have 1 million people, Tracey, to do this, and you don't. You really don't. A handful of people to make this happen.
Yeah, and it's not, and it's a number, in a way, it's a numbers game. Like you were talking, like be okay with the numbers, because it is a numbers game, and you have to test and measure and continue to grow. So let's go and look at maybe let's talk about the 3 biggest mistakes that most women business owners make as speakers, authors, and coaches. Maybe, like, you know, not asking for what they are worth would maybe be one of them, but I'm going to let you talk about that.
No, you hit that as one of the big, not knowing what they're worth. It is just more afraid of, you know, we'll go into a job and say, you know, for some, you can go and say, hey, this is the income level I want to make. And so they're looking for a job, particularly that they may have to go a little lower, but they're looking for a position or a job that can really elevate them to that next level where there's growing potential. And it's the same thing in business. If all of you, when we get off of this call, I want you to go out there and see how many coaches. It's oversaturated with coaches and speakers and all of that. But I would guarantee you probably 85 to 90% of them are not getting paid what they're worth, because the simple fact, they are not asking for what they believe they deserve. We'll do it in a job all day. You'll work for a corporation and they're making $1 million, and none of that comes to you, but you're getting paid and you're bringing either sales into the company, and you know your value, but we're just afraid to ask for it. So that was the biggest one, is not asking for what we're worth. And the one I talked about earlier, Tracey, is not knowing the numbers or being afraid of money. It all comes down to it. I'm sorry. It just comes down to that level of thinking about the numbers and the money game. And I'm going to say something, and this may hurt just a little bit. May I? May I share this? I watch some of the men that are playing, and so I'm playing with the boys now. And when I'm saying I'm playing with the boys now on a different level, and the reason why I believe the boys are allowing me, they don't have a choice really, but allowing me to play in their space, is because of the confidence that I had. I didn't always have this confidence. I really didn't. But there's something that I watch and that I can respect about our male counterparts, is some of them are not afraid. It is just like, it is a given. Hey, pay me this. And some may be very small, but you won't know it. But for us, we'll sit and like, I don't know Dr. Sonja. And the man like, yeah, my program is $10,000. And you're like, what? I know I'm smarter than him. Why did they just pay him that? And it's just, our counterparts are like, they just go for it. And I can respect them for that. And I can be in a room full of men and they're like, oh yeah, the sharks in the room, right? And they're like this, and women are like, you intimidate me. And I'm sitting there like, okay, that's a problem that you have. So let's get over the insecurity that you have. Let's really look at what it is that you want. Let's get over the intimidation, or get through, not over. Get over the intimidation, and let's play this game called life. Let's play this game in business and understand just how powerful you really are. So that is the biggest thing that I can say. And then I have one more, Tracey. The biggest mistakes that we make as a triple threat, one of the biggest, is sitting back thinking, and we already know not having a coach, but sitting back thinking that you can do this and not have a plan. You've got to be very intentional, ladies, about what happens next. It is almost like what happens next is not for you to sit here for the next 90 days until the holidays come. I'm going to wait. I'm just going to wait till January. The time is now. There's no better time than when?
Now.
Like yesterday.
Yeah.
Now. How long have you been sitting on that story? Somebody put that in the chat. How long you been sitting on that story? How long you been sitting on that book? You started, you got the title, you wrote a chapter. It's been like 10 years. And people tell you all the time, oh my gosh, you're so influential. Oh, you just helped me. You've been helping all these folks for free. And you're just trying to figure out, oh my gosh, I know I'm good at this. In your head you are, and you really are good, but you just haven't put it out there. So it is more so just what's stopping them. The biggest mistake is just waiting. What are you waiting on? Time is not waiting for anybody. Right? No one. I've had more, honestly, Tracey, it's like every call, a woman is saying, oh, I was able to quit my 9 to 5. Oh my gosh, they're already making 6 figures, and they realize this light bulb comes on, and they start getting clients as a coach or a consultant like, Dr. Sonja, I'm on to something. Yeah, I'm glad you caught up with that. I have something. Yes, you do. And I think I'm going to walk away. And I was just like, are you ready? And I'm like, yeah, because it's starting to catch up with the income that I make in my business, the other business that I have. But I like this part over here. I don't have to work with 1,000+ people. I can work with this group of people and make 500,000, $1 million, a few $1 million, just doing something that I love. That's going back to the life experience and knowledge. So please don't be the woman, and I say this with all sincerity, do not be that woman that sits around waiting year after year. You waited on little Ray to graduate or go to kindergarten. He's in the 6th grade now. You're still waiting. Or she's doing this and it's on the kids. Stop hiding behind children. Stop hiding behind your marriage and get out there and do something that you've been called to do. The world is waiting on you. They want to hear your story, and they're really waiting on you to help change the world as it is. And you already know how it is. And those that are global is depending on where you are, is depending on how bad it is. Imagine you could change that just by your story.
Yeah. Wow. Kind of leaves you a bit speechless. I mean, it comes down to, believing in yourself and not waiting for perfection, because hey, things are evolving so much. If you wait for perfection, it's never going to happen. So don't wait for that. And we do have some ladies that are like, Melissa, yep, too long. Fran, too long. Gina, too long. Ugh. It's we've all have things that are, waiting for that story to come out of us. And, I waited 8 years, and I have my story coming out in a couple of places over the next 6 months. But wow, yeah, it's way easier to not take action, but then you're never going to get to where you want to go. So
say that again, just for the folks in the back that didn't hear you, Tracey. Can you say that again, please?
If you don't take action, you're never going to get to where you want to go. Take
Absolutely.
those little steps, have that coach behind you, a buddy system, even if you're not ready for a coach, but someone that's going to keep you accountable and go, hey, preach. Yeah, there you go. Preach truth. I know. It's crazy. So what is the biggest fear what most women have? Like what, is it a fear of, I always think it's kind of like the fear of success. I think that honestly is my problem. I'm like, what happens if everything I think I want comes to be? What is my world going to look like? And am I going to be that FedEx commercial where you can't keep up with all the packages getting ordered and going out the door? I always look at that and go, is that what's stopping me?
Yeah. It's like, Tracey, I asked this question. I used to think when I first got started, I'm like, I was on social media. I was afraid of social media a couple of years ago, but I was on there like a crazy woman every day for 9 months. In the first 6 months, I didn't sell anything. I was just sharing my story. And because I really didn't know what to sell, I was like, I'm just going to share. And it was like watching television. They would come on 3 times a day with me, 3 times. It was almost every day. I think I took Sundays off, but it was like a television show. And I would come on talking. And one day I asked this question like, okay, this is scary. And I'm like, what are you afraid of? People finding out who I am. In my mind, right, it was who I was. But honestly, in my heart is, man, I got to keep this up. I got to be on point all the time. That scared me. Like, oh my gosh, when they find out who I am, and I'm thinking, I got to keep this up. And what I realized was that when I begin to help other women through their life journey or building their business, it really helped me with my confidence and all of that. But it was just more of the fear of me. And so that takes me to a story, if I may.
You may.
And there is a particular woman, let's call her Sandra. And Sandra is about to go out on one of the biggest stages that she's ever found herself. And she's in the back getting ready, and she can hear the folks out there on the stage, and she's back there and she's getting these flowers, and they're bringing chocolates, and all of a sudden that stopped, but someone slides a note under the door. And she's like, what is this? So she opens, and it says, the note says, to you from me. She's like, okay, who is this from? And she opens it and she began to read, and she said, and the letter began to say, how dare you? How dare you leave me? She's like, wait a minute, what is this? I'm about to go on, have one of the biggest speaking events I've ever had. And somebody's sending in this note. And she said, okay, it's short, so I'll go ahead and read it. And it began to say, how dare you leave me? How dare you leave me? I've been here with you the entire time. I was there when your mom and dad went through that divorce. I was there. I was there when you were raped. I was there when you were molested. I was there helping you along the way. I was there when you got, you had your first period, right? I was there when you had sex for the first time. I was there. Who did you confide in? Me. So how dare you leave me? Just like this. And it began to go on and say things of, I was there when you got married. I was there when you had your first child. And you sit there and like, man, who is this person? Who is this that knows me this well? And it says, how dare you leave me? Who do you think you are? I've been there the entire time. And so now you get to some level of success. You decide you want to leave me. And it said, sincerely, self. Mm-hmm. And who it was her little me that was screaming at her. She was mad because she decided to leave. And I share that story about Sandra, which is a true story. However, different name. It was me. Yes. Yes. And it was like, little me wanted me to stay, man, I'm getting emotional on that. Yeah. She wanted me to stay right there because I was embarrassed about my story. I was embarrassed about the life that I lived, could have easily been one of the young women that was hanging from a pole trying to do something. We call it something strange for some change. I was just honestly in that place. And so when little me creeps up, because I know somebody felt that story, because I just changed the name and put yours in there. Mm-hmm. And it was more so just getting past that fear of, am I enough? Right? That we ask ourselves, can I keep this up? But what if I am successful? But what about this? And I want to take people with me. And for me, once I got past that, it was just like, it was do or die. I couldn't go back to her because she really kept me in a place of bondage. She kept me in a place that I felt like I couldn't breathe. And now I'll be honest with you, ladies, this has been the best place I've ever been. Such freedom, financial freedom, spiritual freedom, physically free from all of the nonsense that I went through. So the story really helped me get to this place because I shared it, but it helped me shed some of the deadness. And that's the old me. So I hope that helps someone understand you gotta let her go.
I'm ready, girl. Wanda says. Melissa says, stepping outside the fear.
Mhm.
Sarah says, yes, exclamation marks. Madeline says, waiting for permission worked for a really long time in my life. That has
Mhm.
stopped working.
Mhm.
There is
Mhm.
no right time for the perfect answer. I just got to
Mhm.
jump in the game. And
Yes.
and then and then Gina says, OMG, seriously. Oh, ladies, I'm so happy that you joined us today because it was the right time, right? Yes, Melissa says, yes, I'm ready. That's
Yes.
fabulous. Okay,
Yes.
so I know we're just going to move on a little bit here because it's amazing
Okay.
how quickly time goes, and I'm
Yes.
loving this. So I want to stay on forever.
Yes.
But how did you
Mhm.
build a multi-million-dollar business? Because we were talking about money. How do we do it? I know you can't give it all away right now, and I understand that you do need someone that's going to help you and you need a plan, but share with us again, please.
Okay, so those three different platforms, and the idea when I first started was the coaching. And I'll remember, Tracey, when I first got on the stage, there's probably about 1,000 women in the room, and I was speaking. It was a paid event. And when I walked off the stage, I still felt like something was missing. And there was a line wrapped around, people were standing in the line, they talked to me. And I started thinking I was empty handed. I didn't have anything for them. I'm like, and I realized at that moment, I am not going on another stage unless I have something to offer. And it's not just a feel good. And I know a lot of times I influence people, but I wanted to empower them to move. So when I came off of there and went back to one of my coaches back then, who doesn't even coach anymore, it was like one of my first high level coaches. And I said, I'm not going on another stage. I'm not going on another one until I build what's supposed to be behind that. And so if you're asking me, number one, what did I do? I realized what was missing first. And that thing was, what do I have to offer? Right? My life experience and my knowledge to be able to help that my avatar or the person I'm supposed to be working with get to the next level. And it was actually a program. How can I help them? And many people want to do, all my one-on-one queens out there, raise your hand. I know my one-on-one queens are out there. They do a lot of one-on-one. Talk to Sonja. It's just they need me. Not everybody needs you one-on-one. And they really don't. My background is in counseling. I was in the military 21 years. I started a private firm of therapy, and it worked great, but I still felt like I wasn't impacting enough. And I transitioned from counseling to coaching, and I saw a big difference because it was called group coaching instead of one-on-one. And so if I could share a secret is to an extent, one-on-ones is not the answer. You have to do a lot of one-on-ones to make $1 million, and we don't have the time. You still have a life to live, and that's not freedom. That's not financial freedom for sure, but it is not freedom of time, because don't you want to really spend some time with your family? If I said, hey, everyone, Tracey, let's meet in the Bahamas next week. You got to go ask someone for permission. You got to get a babysitter. You got to get that. But what if you were able, it's school break, and you can bring your kids, and you're not even thinking about the level of income? But it's all about timing. And so just having time, I call it working less and making more. It is big and it is important, and many don't understand that concept. And so building a million or $1 million business, let's even start with 6 figures. You got to understand what it is that you have. What's your secret sauce that you can bottle up and give it to people? I'll take my coffee cup here. The secret is in here. I take a sip. I also put something in here, and now I pass it to Tracey. Here you go, Tracey. And you can take this. It's not a cookie cutter, but I'm going to give this to you. And this will help you really launch, build, or expand the business that you have. So you're able to have more time with your family. You'll have a fulfilled life. And it's not just about the money, but you're going to make a lot of it. Okay? Here you go. Do you want it? Tracey takes it. Right? And so you're like, give me that cup. Give me that cup. And then the other secret is, man, you got to know the numbers. I know my numbers. When I walk into a room, I walk on stage, and it is more so, and this is a question someone asked, well, we're looking for the next Oprah. Well, I don't want to be the next Oprah. Oprah was not able to do what I'm doing right now. And I understand she has her own secret sauce. I love her. I'm going to be spending a lot of time with her. However, it is simply the fact of knowing your numbers. What do you need? And if you don't know those numbers, you just spin your wheel and you'll take everybody. You'll just want to work. I gotta get clients. I gotta get clients. This is not chasing after clients. This is clients chasing after you.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll leave those two right there. Do I have a third one I'd like to share that I can give away? Huh. Yes, I have one more. Is that okay? Who are you? And who do you need to become to get to that level you consider success? It's different for everybody.
Right.
But who do you need to become? And I'll share a secret with you. It's not who you are right now. It's not. Who do you need to become to get to that level? Even more success. Some of you are already experiencing success, but do you want even more impact, more success, and even more income? And it's going to take you getting outside of your comfort zone. If you're comfortable right now, I need you to get uncomfortable, because that's not where you're going to flourish, and that's not where you're going to get to that next level, is being comfortable. Good, Tracey?
That's awesome. And I'm just looking at, again, Susan is asking, what does knowing your numbers mean? And I don't know, Susan, if you came on just sort of halfway through or not, but you know, knowing your numbers, everything is a numbers game. You know that if there's so many people in the room and you have something that you're going to offer, a service, something you're going to sell, that you know, on average, you're going to sell this much, or you're whatever you're trying to attain, right? I mean, obviously, I can't say it as well as Dr. Sonja can, but that you just need to know your numbers. You need to know what that dollar value is that you're trying to achieve and how you're going to go about doing it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely, Tracey. I couldn't have said it better. And just adding on to what Tracey just said, is that's from stage, but what about what you're not on stage? If you're on social media or you're out at a networking event, you walking into the places, oh, I'm just going to network. I was talking to one of my groups earlier. It's like, oh, I've been networking. Okay. When you walked in the place, you had this, but when you walked out, you should be taking clients with you. But are you saying enough about what you do, the added value that you bring, and just understanding your numbers and going back, just it should be something that is ringing. What are my numbers? What are my numbers? What are my numbers? It's all measurable. You can measure that. You can't measure somebody feeling good. You can't measure the standing ovations that you get. However, you can measure how many people come to the back table to sign up for your program, or how many people enroll in your program. And those that are authors out there, how do you measure that? And it is what I say to authors is, you can sell a lot of books, lots of books, but selling that many books, most folks are not writing books to become millionaires, but there's a way to write your book that can help you be a millionaire, and it's not being taught. I'm sorry. We're just writing books to tell our story, and which is great, but it's got to be something. Coaching is a center for me. I'm sorry. I love speaking. I love being an author, but coaching does something to me, because I think about the Michael Jordans and the Magic Johnsons of the world, and LeBron James, which is one of my favorite players, young kid, but he is so savvy, business savvy, not just on the court. And everything that he does, he has a team around him. He knows what records he wants to break. He understands he's got to catch the Michael Jordans and pass some of those records. So it is more so knowing your numbers is understanding how many people do you need to serve? How do you serve them? And in what capacity or platform are you serving them? Because there are three. Actually, there's more than three, but we're just going to stay with three. Okay? Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, Susan, that's not a problem. We definitely invite you to kind of go back to the beginning and watch again and get some more, because there's like, this was so incredibly valuable.
Yes.
Now, we're about to end. I know we don't want to, boo. but but I know that you'd mentioned that you have a group that you would like to invite our audience to. So maybe what I'll do is I'll get you to put that in after, just go on to Facebook, and I'll get you to actually put that link in afterwards, and then people can request to join your group at that time.
Absolutely.
And what is the group about?
It's more about what we just talked about, Born to Be Powerful Academy. And it came to me because the word power has been like part of my vocabulary for the last year or two, and I didn't understand. And when I sat down, Tracey, one day, and I said, what does power really mean to me? And it's not just, it's still walking in my femininity, but still understanding that I was created for such a time as this. I was created to do something more, and I was meeting so many women. And so when I said the word power, it's just something that rises up in us. And so power, for me to really explain it to you, is the P stands for possibilities. The O is for opportunities. The W is for wealth and worth. and the E is doing things in excellence, and the R is responsibility. And I will just share the R. We have a responsibility because of the life that we've lived and the things we've been through. We have a responsibility standing before us where we're supposed to help other people. It is no longer just about us. So I'm going to ask you to get over you, right? Move out of the way, bacon. Now there's something me here, right? So really moving over and understanding your power. So Born to Be Powerful Academy came about because I understand women really want to know, and don't be threatened. There are going to be a couple of men. I haven't even opened the doors and people have already enrolled, not even just the program, but in the Facebook group. And I didn't even open it yet. And it's just more to come in there and really talk about, okay, what it is that we need to do, not to necessarily coach, because that is at a higher level. I'll be honest with you, those of you that are really serious, it's going to be at a higher level. But this is just a beginning piece to say, okay, coach, I'm ready. I'm ready to do some things. It's absolutely free, but it is something that I signed up for, not for you all. I signed up because I made a promise. I made a promise to my children's children that are not even here yet. And the legacy that I want to build is not just for my children, but it's for your children. They need the example of what it's like not to just go to school and get a degree, but how do you really build a business? They need the example of not having to work a 9 to 5. So Born to Be Powerful is just the word powerful at amplified times 10. This is how you 10x yourself, your business, the future of your children's children. And so I don't even think about me anymore. So that's what it's about, helping those who want to build a foundation or expand what they already have as a thought leader, an entrepreneur, a business owner, an expert in their field. And let me just very briefly, Tracey, ladies, don't make this too hard. You are an expert because you lived through it. Not because you went and got a certification for it, not because you went to school for it. This was not taught in school. These are the things that you're learning, are life experiences that you get to share, and you're learning about who you are and how you become powerful in your own space. And I call it giving yourself permission to be amazing. And it's really understanding what your power is.
So everyone, you are amazing. We know you're amazing. Yes. Embrace it. And I will definitely be accepting that invitation. So you definitely need to put that down for us. So I'm going to take this time now and sign off and say thank you so much, Dr. Sonja, for joining me again. That was fabulous.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I knew I couldn't wait, and it was definitely just amazing once again. So thank you everybody for joining us. If you, like I said, if you know of someone that needs to hear this now, and I think we all do, definitely share it out on your timeline. We'd love to be able to help more people with our messages and move forward that way. So
absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.